Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that have just joined us, welcome to our first ever Arabian Travel Market Global Halal Tourism Summit. It's a new feature at this year's show in recognition of the Islamic tourism sector's growing influence. Today, we've already heard about the halal tourism sector's phenomenal growth story from experts in this field. We've also heard some of the success stories of the world's top halal tourism destinations. Now, in this third and final session, we'll ask some more Islamic tourism experts their advice on how to sell halal travel. We'll look at market trends from experiential travel to halal cruising and find out how Muslim-friendly holidays should be promoted. So joining us today to discuss the finer details of this fascinating industry we'll start on the far over there, we have Nabil Sharif. He's the founder and director of UK-based Serendipity TaylorMade and Luxury Halal Travel. These are both halal-friendly, high-end tour operators that focus on selling luxury experiences to discerning Muslim travellers. Nabil says now is the time to take halal travel seriously and shape how Muslims travel in the future, providing them with a personalised service and tailor-made experiences. Joining him, we have Naeem Patelia, who is a Dubai-based travel consultant with global homeworking firm Travel Counsellors. Naeem's, give him a round of applause. Why not? Why not?
But then we have to applause for Nabil.
You've got to clap everyone, yeah. Naeem specialises in bespoke itineraries, luxury travel, and family and halal-friendly holidays. He's one of a handful of travel consultants that's accredited by Crescent Rating, which is a leading authority on halal travel. And then, sitting next to him, we have Rafiuddin Shiko, who's Managing Director of Dinar Standard. Rafi has been a champion of the Islamic economy since 2008, when he founded Dinar Standard, which is a research and advisory firm dedicated to emerging markets within this sector. His Islamic economy research is wide-ranging and includes Muslim traveller surveys, which are used to develop halal destination strategies. And last, but by certainly no means least, we have Name Imad Darwish, who's the CEO of Jannah Hotels and Resorts. Go ahead. They'll all get a big hand at the end, don't worry. Nami is a seasoned hospitality professional, has launched Jannah Hotels and Resorts in 2013. It's a luxury hotel brand that's founded on the Bedouin culture. The hotel group is a pioneer in offering halal-friendly accommodation for Muslim travellers, with plans, I think, to manage around 33 properties in the Middle East by 2022. So, I'd like to come and join these gentlemen, and we'll start the discussion. Right. So, first of all, I think it'd be nice to discuss some of the trends that we're noticing, some of the top-line trends from each of your business perspectives that we're noticing. So I'm just going to start at the end and go through, if that's okay. So Nabil, tell us what, the top trends that you're noticing in the industry right now.
Well, the halal travel industry, even from last year, where halal travel was discussed here, has moved on in rates and bounds that we didn't really expect. 3 years ago, we launched Luxury Halal Travel for the sole reason is that we found that the halal market was a lot more than just one homogenous traveler traveling to one place or one type of place. They had different needs, they had different budgets, they had different aspirations. And one of the biggest trends that we found is that we certainly can't look at each Muslim traveler in the same light. So we brought out Luxury Halal Travel for the sole purpose to provide a luxury service and provide a more concierge service to our clients that are looking for a more discerning experience. Serendipity, on the other hand, has kept on looking at different segments within the Muslim travel audience, such as family travel, independent travel. We're seeing more and more younger millennials, possibly Generation Zs, who are coming on and saying, you know what, we've just finished university, or we're finishing university in 2 years' time. We want to see the world, but we want to keep our faith as well. We want somewhere to pray when we're, climbing Mount Kinabalu or something. Whatever Generation Z does. I don't know what they do anymore. I'm not really there.
But who knows?
No, definitely not there.
I think there was a seminar on that the other day.
I'm just about M, I think. but certainly the diaspora and the across different nations, across different cultures, is providing different segments within the halal industry, and I think that's where we're going, and that's what we have to look at going forward.
Fantastic. Now, Naeem, so you're a travel consultant here.
Yes.
So the majority of your customers are UAE based or further afield?
No, actually, the majority of, I would say about 50% of our customers are, or my customers personally, is UAE based.
Right.
And half of that then would be from South Africa, UK as well. We have customers.
So expats as well, yeah.
But expats staying here, and then people staying in South Africa or staying in the United Kingdom,
Right,
Australia,
okay,
etc.
yeah,
They deal
yeah.
with us.
So what, in that respect, what trends have you noticed in what, the Muslim traveller is demanding? Where are they going? What do they want to do? What are the kind of top line trends you're seeing?
From currently, what we see in the main, or most Muslims, they want to travel somewhere where they are comfortable.
Right.
Certain countries at the moment might not be so conducive. So they want to basically be like any other traveler, travel to a place and not feel out of place, have access or easy access to food, have easy access to prayer facilities, and basically see the world like anybody else would, and experience the same things that any other traveler would.
I
would
think
look
that's
for.
very important to mention because, we're talking about everybody wants the same thing
Correct,
out of a
yes.
travel experience, don't they? Whether, they're Muslim or any other religion,
Yes.
it's just they want to do it in the way that's sensitive to their particular needs. But I think talking, when Nabil was saying about experiential travel and experiences,
Yes.
that's what we all want, isn't it? And are you seeing that, travel
Yes, correct. So
counsellors?
people
Yeah.
they want to try new destinations.
Yeah.
They want to see, like now, for example, Eastern Europe or wherever the case is, Far East as well. People want to go to all these different destinations, but at the same time be comfortable. Know it will be easy for them to travel there, to find food, for example, will be easy, to be comfortable generally in the environment, whether the lady is wearing a hijab or anything else like that she's comfortable in that environment,
Sure.
in the hotel,
Yeah.
in the country itself.
And have you noticed anything new or different, very recently since you've been selling, this particularly? Is there anything changed or?
Actually, there's more of a emphasis on it because more people have realized that their demand or their needs can be fulfilled.
Right.
So maybe previously Muslim travelers were not so demanding as such.
Yes.
They were sort of just going and wherever they could find stuff.
But now they
would
know
do.
it's available.
Now that it's
They're
available.
wanting more and
Or
more.
they want more and more.
Right,
Yes.
okay, yeah. Interesting. Rafi, now research is your thing. You must have lots of information. What are the key trends? What would you say were the real powerful messages to tell our audience today in terms of the Muslim travel market? Inbound, outbound, whatever you fancy.
Sure. That we could go on and
We
on
could.
and talk a lot about research, but given the topic of this session, one of the recent studies we did was with an organization called ComSec.
Right,
That represents, it's an umbrella organization that represents the 57 Muslim majority countries. It's a special economic development committee.
Yes.
Called ComSec. So we were commissioned to do a study, which was a global survey. We had about 1,120 respondents. So just so we can set the stage in terms of the credibility, is statistically strong. So for geographically, the respondents were from 36% from GCC.
Right.
About because we're talking about stats. I don't like to, mention wrong data, but about 26 or so percent from the Western Muslim market. There were about 18% from Asia and about 15% from Africa.
So
it was a
broad
good
mix.
geographic distinction. And one of the key things, I think, for the purposes of this session, where you wanted to talk about specifically on products and marketing rather than the high-level stuff, which I think we've all heard enough
touched
about,
on that,
right?
the kind of more nitty-gritty, what they want, where they're going, yeah.
So around that, we wanted to understand what is driving their decision-making.
Yes.
And how do you segment this market? When we talk about this Muslim travel market or Muslim-friendly market, it's a global market, right? You have Muslims all over the world, so you can't really box them into one segment.
Yes.
So there's a wide geographic distribution. Muslims in China or Russia are very different from Muslims.
Yeah, we talked
in
about that
Saudi
earlier.
and
Yeah,
so forth,
it's
right?
interesting.
So I think from a segmentation point of view, one of the key things that the survey looked at was the purpose of travel. And we even benchmarked it to UNWTO's global survey on purpose of travel, just to see how our respondents just to be clear, we're talking about the response to the survey, differed or were the same. So the biggest purpose of travel for the global travelers is leisure, and that was the same for our respondents, which were Muslim travelers, and but it was 65% were leisure for Muslim travel market. The global ones, UNWTO, about 58%.
Right.
Now that survey's categories were not equally the same, but the ones that stood out differently were, in terms of purpose, for Muslim travelers, about 54% were VFR related, so family relative visit related.
Yeah.
About 32% religious related, which was very high relative to the global average.
Sure. Yeah.
About 21% business related and 16% education related. And education also stood out as from a outbound, and I'm talking outbound travel point of view, as something that stood out. So that's one thing I'll start with. There's a lot of other aspects to that survey that kind of framed, and based on it, we segmented the market from an age group point of view. Nabil touched on the young millennials, and we've kind of segmented 3 key core demographic segments.
Yes.
So one are the millennials 18 to 24 age singles. That is a market to look at, and their products and what they're looking for are a bit different.
Yeah. What do they want then?
There's more experiential travel.
Right, yeah.
They're not looking for luxury in that sense, but they're more, backpack, just experience. And interestingly, when you correlate it to the purpose, education travel or religious travel or VFR is higher in terms of their reason of why they're going.
Interesting.
But then the second bucket, so the 3 quickly, and I'll stop because we can come back to other things.
We'll come back to it. Don't worry. Yeah.
The second one was the young married couple, so 24 age, age 24 to 34, young married couple, and then what we call the growing married families.
Right. Okay.
Families with kids. So I think they all had distinct needs, and so segmenting the market that way was one of the aspects we looked at, because today, in terms of attracting this travel market, which is no different than any other travel market in terms of their main objective, leisure travel.
Sure.
It's to understand the segmented needs and why they travel, how they're traveling, so forth. So we covered a lot of other things, but I'm sure I can come back to that too.
Now, Name, obviously talking from a hotel perspective, what are you noticing in terms of what your guests are looking at, and how well was the concept kind of worked in terms of attracting Muslim travelers and where they're coming from?
Well, actually, we were very lucky when we started because there was no halal tourism getting together, and there was no halal tourism certification. And honestly, to be honest with you, when we started, people said, I'm nuts. They said, you're crazy. How can you open a hotel without alcohol? And I remember the first time we were doing a press conference, someone raised his hand and he said to me, how can you have a dry hotel? And seriously, it was the first time I hear that word. You see, 80% of my conversations are in Arabic, and I heard dry hotel. I said, what do you mean? Because I didn't understand anything of what he said. I said, we have water, we have coffee, we have juices. What do you mean dry hotel? I didn't understand. And he explained to me, and he said, it's so you don't serve alcohol. I said, so we're alcohol free, but it's like Coca-Cola. It's Coke Zero is sugar free. It doesn't mean it's dry.
We won't starve you.
Yeah, and that was a big learning experience for me. I understood that I'm trying to sell something that may not be very well understood by the international community.
Right,
so I have to be very careful how I'm going to portray it.
Yes.
And I learned something that is very important as well. One is I learned that I was very scared about halal tourism.
Right.
Until today, I don't put it on my website. I will tell you why. Because I am not scared that I am labeling something as halal. I am scared that I'm labeling something else as not halal.
Right.
This is what's scaring me.
So what terminology do you use?
I'm still working on it.
Okay.
But I will tell you what we learned. We learned we have to condition the environment. This is what we have to do. So we have to learn about people's needs, and we have to condition the environment. The second thing that we started to learn now is the reasons behind the decision. We started to understand the role of the woman in the family, how important it is, how we have to take care of this. There was someone from halalbooking.com here. And
yes, Enver was here earlier.
Right.
Yeah,
Enver was here. So when they came to us 4 years ago, they said, Nami, you're doing very good and etc., but you don't have a separate swimming pool for women. And And it's amazing that someone has to tell me that, right? I should be the one pioneering. And same with you. Last year in Abu Dhabi, we spoke about this, and now we do. Now we actually build hotels with that conditioned environment.
You guys are the only one doing that here.
Yes, and I
Yeah.
hope we will not be the only one because it's a market that other people have to benefit from.
Right.
But now we're the experts, so if someone wants to build the hotels, they should come to us.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you can grow rapidly.
True.
And what's been the response from the market now that you've got those products in place?
I will tell you what is the response. The response, first of all, is that we are a hotel operator. So we appeal very much to the halal seeking travelers. But we don't also shy away from selling to other people. You know, we live today in a time that people don't drink not because they are not Muslims. They are Muslims. They don't drink because it's healthy. People eat their
Yes,
steaks
exactly.
well done. Not because we say it should be well done and no blood should be in it. No, because it is healthier. People want to take their families to hotels like ours. Why? Because he doesn't want his daughter or his son to be exposed to things that would not make his son and his daughter the way that he wants.
Interesting.
So
yeah.
this is what we did. And the key really, and this is something very big, we all work to market outside. We market to the customer, to the guest. But the true key in us being successful is, of course, talking to each other all the time because we complete each other.
Yeah.
And to market internally. We were successful because we have a great brand story. First of all, we're called Jannah. You cannot be luckier than this, I think. Yeah, seriously.
Beautiful name.
Beautiful name. And we have a story behind the logo, but internally we have 4 values. You know, our sales strategy is called Al-Ihsan. So it really drives from our culture. Why it's called Al-Ihsan? Because why is it a sales strategy? Al-Ihsan, it comes from a saying that says, فَهَلْ جَزَاءُ الْإِحْسَانِ إِلَّا الْإِحْسَانِ. Is there any reward to goodness other than goodness? When we started the hotel, we were not cash rich as today. When we started the first hotel, we really barely had nothing. So we said, where can we get our customers from? Well, you know, guess, where can you find a lot of Muslims in a specific time, one day, and a lot of them, and it's very obvious. The mosque, on Friday, midday. So what we did, actually, we did
Good idea.
date boxes and water, and we made sure that we target, believe it or not, the mosques that
Fantastic,
are
yeah.
around us so we can fill our restaurants. Boom, it worked.
And do you ever do focus groups with, you know, the population to find out, you know, what people...
Yes, we do internal focus groups and we do external focus groups. What we should be doing more is talking to these guys. This
Yes,
is what we don't
yeah.
do. And we should reach out internationally. This is where now we as a company are trying. First of all, we understood that we can bring a lot of benefit to people trying to do this in destination where Muslims are traveling. Because we're not, you walk into our hotels, you're going to learn about culture. The elevators, every elevator has a name. One is called Al-Mizan, one is called Al-Ihsan, one is called Al-Insan. And each one tells you a story. You go to our rooms. Of course, you have a sign that says where is the Qibla, and of course, you have a Quran, and of course, you have a prayer mat. But also, when you go to sleep, you have a small story that is left on your pillow. And I swear to God, you will need to crack it to understand that this comes from Islam. Like we have stories about Umar bin Khattab alayhi salam, about how humble he was.
Yeah.
But we don't say who he is. Because so it works for the international, for the
Yeah.
whole world.
Yeah.
But a Muslim would read and would say, wow,
Understood.
I belong here.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
my place. This is my
That's nice. So we talked about inclusivity earlier, and
Yes,
that's what you're saying.
I really liked
It's
what
not
you said.
about being, you know, exclusive. It's about including everybody, making sure those needs are met. And you just explained that very well, how it could work on 2 different levels
Yeah.
and appeal to both
You know,
sets of travelers.
we give more than other hotels.
Yes,
We
yes.
have a separate swimming pool for ladies. Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
The only thing we
Sounds
don't
good to
give
me.
that other hotel gives is alcohol. But come on, who stays in a hotel to drink alcohol?
No,
There's
no one, yeah.
500 bars if you want to drink alcohol.
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, the panel, do we all agree then that there needs to be some kind of association
Yes.
where we've got a thinking group like we've had here today at ATM, where people come together from the industry, guys like you that are experts in this field, to have information exchange and idea? And is there anything like that at the moment, or can we maybe start it today?
Well, first of all, there have been a series of events that
Yes.
do happen regularly.
Yeah, yeah.
Almost annually we can find and we see our friends and colleagues, you know, in a lot of these events. In terms of an industry association, that's a great point. I believe Mr. Rianto from
Yes.
the Indonesia
He was
Tourism
here, yeah.
Ministry. I think they talked about this new Halal Industry Alliance.
Yes, that's
which
right, the
is,
Travel Alliance.
I think a
Yeah.
first effort to bring various parties together
Yeah.
to sort of do the learning and have a discussion and so forth. And I think that would definitely be helpful. To add to Jannah's great success, when we look at what's happening in Turkey, and when we look at what's been successful in Malaysia, and even destinations such as Spain that have a lot of our Islamic heritage or others,
yes.
there is a very strong investor story, and
Yes.
a big part of our work now is working with the investment community,
Right, okay.
in the
yeah.
Islamic economy space, and we're seeing, and we're now part of a large a fund that's focused on the Islamic economy, starting with the food sector, but they're keen to tap into the other lifestyle sectors, as we call, including travel. And travel is very interesting because it's linked to real estate.
Yes.
Corporate
Yeah.
real estate.
Yeah.
And so it's familiar to the Islamic capital.
Yes.
And one of the things when you asked about trend that I think it's behind the scene, meaning not consumer facing, that's starting to happen is the investment community is starting to be interested in this space, which is very important in parallel to governments that are
Yes.
already interested.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
see the Islamic OIC country governments are interested, meaning you see a lot of the efforts from tourism boards and so forth here in OIC, as well as non-OIC countries, because this is a global,
Yeah.
we're part of the global
Yeah.
village.
Yeah.
Travel is both ways, but the investment community angle is a very strong, and success stories like Jannah are very important for investors.
Yes.
We have another brand in the region called Shaza,
Shaza.
Yes,
which has
yeah.
also been a valuable success story. We have
Yes.
success stories in Turkey,
Yes.
where a lot of the beach resorts and we're in team with a lot of the properties on Halal Booking
Sure.
will attest to how they've been able to show real financial metrics
Yes,
that convince the investors, there is a market for
Yeah,
this.
and at least we have got some good research on this out there now that's
Right.
showing, the potential and
Absolutely,
the benefits. Now, did you want to mention about that? Because I'm coming on to another point, but yeah, go
Just
ahead.
regarding the Halal Alliance, I think it's a great idea, but I think it's also important to involve non-Muslim entities as well, because
Interesting, yeah.
I think they can learn a lot from Muslim companies. Otherwise, the ability to grow, not just from a hotel perspective, but from a ground agency perspective, from an airline perspective, from all the stakeholders that are involved in travel.
Yes,
I
yeah,
think it's important
yeah.
that we talk between non-Muslim entities and Muslim entities,
Yeah.
so they understand what it is to welcome a Muslim guest. And it's all well and good to talk between us, but from my perspective, being B2C predominantly, I think it's really important to make sure you speak to your clients.
Yes,
Nahme touched
yeah.
on that. They speak to their audience, they speak to their guests. If you're not speaking to your clients, you don't know what they want. And if you don't know what they want, then you're just going to be leading down probably a very narrow and single-minded path. So it's very important to spread that conversation as much as you can and make sure that you're covering the bases that you want to cover within the market you're attracting.
I mean, how do we feel about, the product, services, destination offering that's out there now? It's come a long way. I mean, what's good that's out there and what's needed, bearing in mind how you say the market's moving that fast, that there's all these new demographics and
Yeah.
niches arising. How do what's being catered to and where are the gaps?
Well, I think if you look at it as a curve, you've got destinations and hotels that are well up there on the product life cycle. They know exactly what they're doing, and then you've got destinations and hotels that are right at the beginning. Now, they're not going to get everything right, and it's down to people within the industry to be able to communicate with those hoteliers and those destinations and say, okay, your intention's great. This is how we recommend our clients would want to be received. Okay, but it's not the same for everybody. When it comes to niche destinations, it's always a little bit difficult. We find that it takes about 18 months from launching a new destination to actually seeing good productivity from it. And that's a whole education level. We're talking about launching a destination, talking about it, talking about hotels, liaising with hotels. And on average, we've launched Vietnam, New Zealand, Argentina, most recently the Caribbean. That's our latest destination that we're launching, several islands within the Caribbean. And the general trend is that 18 months later, we're actually seeing productivity from it. The only exception is Canada. We launched Canada last year because of the whole America thing. We saw a spike in Canada straight away. But other than that, we're seeing that time is needed to communicate and get the message out. But once you get it, the rewards are there, and that's really important to just keep focus on that goal.
And what about some of those, niches you were talking about in terms of like experiential travel, adventure? I know you found some quite unusual activities that you've now been selling, like yoga in the mountains and all sorts. Are those kind of halal friendly experiences out there now, or do they still need to be developed?
I think we have to use stretching in the mountains, just in case we offend anybody. It's the semantics of looking at halal tourism. You're talking to people that could affiliate with a certain type of lifestyle, yoga. Some people would not touch it with a barge pole because they just don't feel it's in line with their keeping. But let's take generic experiences. 40% of our business is honeymoon business, and one of our go-to suggestions for clients is you're in the Maldives, it's you and your new wife that you've known for about 5 weeks, and you want to go and have a great time, get to know each other, and spend an evening viewing a movie on the beach in complete privacy. How great is that? You don't have to worry about having alcohol next to you. You don't have to worry about sharing the space with somebody else. You've got a very private space just for you, and that sort of experience is really what we find our clients are looking for. But like I said, younger generations are looking for something a lot more vibrant, a lot more active. They want to do whitewater rafting. They want to go bungee jumping. They want to see things, and they want to live the travel life that a lot of their colleagues and a lot of their friends are doing, straight out of university or straight after school, or even before marriage. A lot of people feel that the best time to travel is before marriage. So,
Can't think why.
I completely disagree. The best time to travel is after you're married. So, I have to say that though.
Is your wife in the audience?
No, she's probably watching though. She'll find out. She'll watch this somehow. So I've got to keep it on the level.
Naeem, what do you think? Do you think that you're, selling this all the time? Is there enough products out there? Are you finding that people's needs are being met, or are you sometimes having to kind of send them to the same places, the same hotels, the same experiences? Where are the gaps? What's good? What's bad?
I think at the moment what's happening is there are a few destinations that are more easier to sell,
Yeah, and what kind of places? Malaysia?
Your standard ones, Malaysia, Turkey, those are standard destinations.
Sure.
But now we're looking at, for example, even something like, North America, although it's difficult at the moment, but we've had discussions, or we've spoken to the city of New York, and they actually have a list of halal places that as part of their brochure, we're Muslims, where you can find halal food. And the hotels that they deal with as well also understand halal. So at the moment, our customers are looking at, we look at people traveling everywhere. I personally as well just traveled to New York and Washington just to, recently. And it was very easy to find, in conjunction with the people, with the tourism of New York, to find halal food in Washington as well.
Yeah.
These things are easily accessible. So from our side, it's with our business, we're a very personalized business. Travel counselors, we're very personalized. We work on expert knowledge, in-depth knowledge ourselves as well. So the Muslim traveler is like any of our other customers as well, where we provide a personalized service to them, wherever they might be going, to find something that caters to them as well.
Yes,
So for destinations as well, there are some, like when we look at Japan, Indonesia, Malaysia, they are spending extra time. Switzerland as well has a very strong focus on halal travel.
Right,
And just recently, if you go to one of those cable cars, I can't remember the destination now, but they have halal food available on the table on the restaurant when you reach there. They have a halal cruise in one of their lakes as well. So destination like Switzerland is easy to sell as well for us.
Yes. Halal cruise is something Abu Dhabi is starting to look at, isn't it?
So it's the understanding of halal, it's the understanding of the requirements. So some destinations don't get it yet.
Yeah.
Like we've been around here as well in ATM, and I've spoken to a few tourism boards, and some have they have a bit of an understanding, but not much.
No.
But then
so again, it's getting out there, talking to these people,
yes.
To explain what's needed, and
But I must admit, looking around ATM this year, there's a lot more. There's many more destinations that have branded as halal friendly, or promoting or offering halal friendly.
There's been a lot more announcements. Celebrity Cruises announced that every single cruise ship in the world that they have will be serving halal food from now on.
Yep.
That's a big deal for a US-based big cruise company.
Actually, a lot of the
that
cruise companies
shows you-
actually already do
Yeah.
because it's just easier to procure
Well, yeah,
as all halal.
But they're promoting the fact.
Exactly.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
actually go out and say it, that's actually quite a brave move from
Yes.
somebody like,
From Royal Caribbean.
Or
No,
RCL, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, celebrity. Yeah, cool. Name, so, you've kind of pioneered this. Where do you think you can take the product to next? And can you, maybe work on wider models, with the tourism industry to really drive this forward? I mentioned about Abu Dhabi and Halal cruising, for example, and how are you kind of partnering with them in any way to kind of drive that kind of segment as well? Because there's a role for you to play in bringing in the rest of the tourism industry.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with cruise ship, we're not doing anything yet.
No.
No, but we're studying how can we expand. We're very comfortable here.
Yes.
And we have been living in a comfort zone for the past 4 years. We've been expanding, we're going to expand. It's the easiest thing here is to find investors, which I really love this country for it, especially that they want to invest. And I have a cliche line. I say you only want to invest in this life or this life and the one after. So invest in our hotels instead of investing anywhere else. But what I really want to do is I realized something. I went to Mecca, like everybody goes to Mecca, and I come when I was younger the first time. And
You're still young.
Yeah, it looks. I try to look older today. And the more I meet, my colleagues and us that we're doing this for the right reasons, the more I realize. When I went the first time to Mecca, I was I think 9 or 10 years old, and where I come from, I thought that all Muslims are Arabs. So the first time I went there and I saw, hey, like they are not Arabs, they are Chinese, Malaysian, Pakistanis, British, American.
Everywhere.
They are everything. And I realized something when I was really a kid. I understood that we're so strong because we're so diverse. And then today that I'm a little bit older and this is our company, what I would like to do is to understand more and more statistically, where do people want to go? Because I also understood something, and today this is why they are not going to the US? Even if I open the best hotel, the best Jannah in the middle of the US, maybe if I open one, it will work, because it will be the only one. But if I expand too many, then it's not gonna make it viable. So there are places that the destination is attractive for this specific market. And when we go to that specific market, I don't want to only serve us. No, you know something? We give a lot more than normal hotels. If I had to make a choice between Jannah and a normal hotel, and okay, the only thing is alcohol, I would choose Jannah because you have villas with private pools. If you don't have that, then you have hotels with 2 swimming pools.
Yeah, yeah.
Then also, for example,
Everybody wants privacy.
and everybody wants a lot more.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know something, if a lady comes to check in all by herself in Jannah, we don't have a line that says women only. Like that's scary a little bit for me. If I wonder if my mom would come, and do I really want to segregate her? No, but if they realize, we call them first impression officers. So if they realize that she's alone, they will immediately make sure that the Kareem, we call our butlers Kareem,
Yes.
is a lady, and the lady will actually escort her directly to the room.
Nice.
So she doesn't have to wait. We give that little bit of extra silently.
So like you say, all hotel groups could learn from that. That sounds...
Yeah, this is really
like a
raising the
good idea.
hospitality standards a little bit
Yes, yeah.
into something more. Yeah.
I would agree. One of the things when we cover global brands and we evaluate global brands across this core Islamic markets, we have none, essentially. I mean, and that's one of the studies we do across different sectors. And same with hospitality. Why can't Jannah or Sharjah or hotels that espouse this value system and have a global appeal?
Yes,
You absolutely have to be, because even from an Islamic point of view, we're supposed to be best examples for mankind,
True.
not for just Muslims.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
we can be best success stories and examples in business as well. So, Jannah can become and should be like a intercontinental group of hotels or a core. Why not? I mean, we need that.
Yeah.
Because, and I would actually say you can set up in US and become a successful brand there as well when your appeal and so forth. We were having a discussion with a colleague yesterday who was talking about, one of the hotel concepts that was dry, as you refer to it, and their biggest number of customers were German families because they're used to being in an environment where alcohol is very common, and now they actually liked visiting with their kids to a hotel that was Rye Hotel.
Yep.
So there is an appeal to this value system that is universal, and on that, brands can be built that are global. And I think that's the exciting opportunity for us in this space, Michelle.
And that comes on to the question I was going to ask about how we therefore market. You know, it's quite a complex industry, like any industry. So and where does the kind of halal lifestyle come into that? And, you know, cross-marketing with other brands. How can we get this across, you know, that we're inclusive, but we stand for, you know, what your brand stands for example?
Well, one of the things that's starting to shift in our Muslim travel, halal travel space, and I would completely agree, as strategists in this space, we do not advise labeling it directly as such.
Right.
First of all, because directly, there are two things. You said you're worried about, you know, what is a non-halal, but in fact, you're actually saying anyone who's not Muslim is not invited.
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and so, but our intention is not that. It's not
Do
at
you
all.
think
I think
halal friendly is enough? Just saying, you know, where do you kind of, it's a grey area, isn't it?
Where it's heading to is you do still need to keep the core identity of the value system. You know, because you can say, well, we just want to be ethical and socially responsible, then that becomes very loose definition. Because we do have certain unique requirements when we talk about alcohol consumption or food being of certain categories. So there's some unique, but there are overlapping values that correspond to other needs. And one of the terminologies that I'm starting to see, including starting from UAE refers to this space. As you know, Dubai, striving to be capital of the Islamic economy, it's made a lot of initiatives, and there's a lot of success in that regard. They refer to this space as family friendly.
Right, yeah.
And I think that actually
involves everyone,
right,
really, yeah.
Family friendly as a branding, but the attributes or the values and features can still be very much Islamic.
Sure.
And like you said, you don't have to label Abu Bakr and, you know, Siddiq and so forth, but the story is something that will appeal to everyone.
Yes, yeah.
So I think that is the positioning that we're seeing as this market is maturing. I remember, you know, a lot of, as this space started, everyone started calling Sharia. I mean, almost taking it, you know, step backwards. Not even halal, Sharia compliant
travel. Because that was how it kind of started out, wasn't it? Yeah,
I mean,
Sharia compliant travel. Yes.
As you know, from the Gulf especially, it sounds very scary. I mean,
it did. It just didn't sound very appealing, did it, to anybody really? Yeah.
Well, I think in Southeast Asia it actually works because they're a little bit more familiar with the terminology.
Yes, if you know the term. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's important to speak to the right people with the right message.
I was just about to say targeted marketing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I mean, it's marketing 101. You know, if you're a hotel and you have a range of clients, but you do you have halal service. Let's take Celebrity Cruises, for example. They're not going to solely cater to the Muslim market or solely cater to, you know, the UK market. But if they communicate the fact that they have halal food to that audience with the right messaging at the right time in the right channels, then there's nothing wrong with being able to cater to many different audiences. So if you're a hotel or you're a destination or you're even a travel company that is looking to cater to Muslims and non-Muslims, then just get your messaging right. And you don't have to bombard people with we are halal and we are halal only. We are very subtle with our terminology of halal. You won't really see on our homepage that we're a halal friendly company or do only halal friendly holidays. We're a halal friendly company in the fact that our ethos is that way, whether it's through charity projects that we do or whether it's the way that we fund. But at the same time, how we're looking to go forward is, we want to make sure that nobody is compelled to feel that they're on a halal holiday per se, but they're on an amazing experience.
Actually, I just want to add to this.
Yes,
Usually, I don't share what we do in marketing in open because it really made us successful. But today, for some feeling, I feel like sharing.
Throw caution to the wind.
So what we do is, you're right, we have two marketing strategies. So we have a marketing strategy that really targets 100% the Muslim and the Muslims that are moderate, not the extremists for sure, and not the one that don't practice, but actually practicing Muslims. And we have another marketing strategy that targets the world, like Starwood would do and Marriott and etc. So the marketing strategy, and we're very lucky because we were born in such an easy time to market Before, you had to put TV ads and newspaper and etc. But now, we live in a time that is so great. So I'll tell you what we do. And I would just add little bit details, but I talk really fast, so this is going to go fast.
That's good.
What we did is we opened social accounts, okay, that have nothing to do with hotels. We opened, for example, quotes from Umar bin Khattab. We opened Islamic book, Islamic teaching. We opened prayer. We opened the reminder for prayer. All these social accounts, you find them on Instagram, okay? So we manage more than 300 social accounts that have to do with this, using a very similar software and great talented people. One of them was here. Where is Anna? I think she was here. So they manage these pages. When you manage these pages, you capture that audience. Because you see, if it was a car brand, BMW, then you would have Muslims, non-Muslims, anybody that loves a car that will follow. But if you put Islamic book as the name of an account, then you would have people that are only interested in this.
Yes. Yeah.
Once we started building those databases, we actually take out, and we know that this is a target, and we know that then it's very easy. Let me know from where you are, and we start putting the statistics in a very clean and fine way.
Yeah.
We are Jannah, but we also are the very proud owners of a brand called Heirloom that no one knows it attached to us. It's based in Belgium, in Ghent, in Antwerp.
What is it?
So this is old traditional houses that we turn into hotels between 20 and 30 rooms. They are with a pin code, so you can go in, go out easy. But you go inside, and we know how to market them to the right people without, so no one would ever know. But we would just show up continuously on your social media. And you go in, you see the sign. Even, sorry to mention this, but the toilets are set up the right way. and everything in it, there's a prayer mat, and there's the right channels, and there's the right, etc. And you would leave. But open our website today, www.heirloom.be. Even I don't exist on it. And we own it and manage it. And we do this, of course, by doing this. But this is it, you're right. If you ask the world what is Jannah, 50-50 will tell you. The one that don't understand the word Jannah will tell you it's a hotel operator. The other 50 that are targeted, once they walk in, they see Kareem services. So what is Kareem? Is being actually generous, and it connects to us. You see indirect connections. They see the stories. They see that our talents, when they take them to the elevator, say, Al-Mizan, it comes from there is no reward for goodness other than goodness. When they go up, they see the stories, they see the water, and it continuously feed you that you are in the correct place. You go down, there is no one drunk that will bother you or that will, change the environment for you. It's a conditioned environment for the seeker to observe it and understand that he is in the place that he is looking for.
Yep.
And for the normal traveler to find that, wow, I have more values here. I get a lot more things.
Yeah.
This is what we do.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm so sorry, audience. We have to wrap it up here because we've got more people coming to the global stage. So please give our panel a massive round of applause. They've been fantastic today. Thank you. I know some of the members of the audience have stayed here throughout the whole summit, the whole 3 sessions. So thank you for your attention today and for joining us. We appreciate that. I'm sure our panelists would chat to you afterwards outside the session. So do approach them, swap cards, have a chat, and thank you again for joining us.
Thank you.